was fine. And I tell you only one thing, the one who is acquainted with mathematics and English, they rule the world.
Yeah.
And absolutely no hesitation to say this, that mathematics is important. All school subjects are important, of course, but I put a little more weight on mathematics for all good reasons. And, uh, like teachers make it complicated. Actually, subject is very easy. It's all we teachers, of course, we make the things complicated, and ultimately, children develop aversion for the subject. They start hating the subject. They want to leave mathematics as early as possible. And these are all the repercussions, of course. And I don't know, like, therefore, the professional development of mathematics teachers is very, very significant, and it should be taken up, of course, very seriously. Particularly in this pandemic situation, of course, all the teachers, you have to hone your skills, and mathematics teachers, it's more important. Now, teaching mathematics is not easy. It's not everybody's cup of tea. You all should know one thing: doing mathematics is different, teaching mathematics is different. There are many people who can solve the problem, get the answers given at the end of the exercise. Pretty good. But teaching is different. You should make a child solve the problem. And it's not that you are solving the problem. And therefore, don't treat these two as the same. Making a child do the problem is important. And the next thing is the concepts. I don't know, like, if you have studied about constructivism and all that, you have to elicit the ideas from the students. You can't tell them, of course, these are all the things we have in mathematics, and writing on the board and they copy down. It doesn't work in mathematics. So the ideas, the concepts, you have to elicit from the students. So you have to feed the concepts so well. And the next part is very important. Mathematics teachers should not touch even a single problem from the exercise. This is very, very important. Exercise is meant for the child. And you see, maybe you can give a small hint. You divide the problem into some parts. But if any teacher, let me tell you categorically, I don't have any reservations. If any teacher is working out the problems in order on the board with good handwriting, he or she is the C grade teacher. There is no D grade. C is the last. I repeat my statement. If any teacher is working out all the problems on the board very neatly, in good handwriting, in a serial order, and that's a damage done. You are not building the self-esteem
of the child.
When the child does the problem on his own or her own, they develop the self-esteem. Yes, I have done the problem. I can do, give me any other problem, I can do it because I have done the problem. So when the teacher is working out the problems on the board, they're doing an extensive damage to the child. Number one. And second thing is, there are teachers who open up and give them the crux of the story. Let us say there is a question on, like there are some items given and what is the sum of all these numbers. There is a question. Immediately the teacher tells, come on children, add. And that's the teacher who is doing an extensive damage again. Means children have to read the problem and understand which operation is appropriate there. Is it addition or multiplication or division? And therefore, you can't afford to give a hint to the child and stop him from thinking. Mathematics teaching is all about thinking. It's a mathematical logic, developing the reasoning. And you are just hindering that process. And therefore, the children have to read the problem and understand, and what is given, what I need to find out. And can I do it with this data? That is checking the adequacy of the data. That's very important. Can I do that? Can I determine that with this data This is called checking the adequacy of the data. And unless you do that a little exercise, you can't embark on solving the problem. Check whether you can do it or not. What is given, what is that you need to determine, and which like method you have to take there, and which formula takes you there, and what is the connection between these things. And that is what is important actually. I just want to tell you, like, when I have to test the knowledge of mathematics of a child, of a student, what do I see? The government has given 5 like critical competencies. The first one, they said, conceptual understanding and problem solving. This is the most important one. You should know what is interest. You should know what is perimeter. You should know what is area. You should know what is anything, and all that. These are all ideas, concepts. The first and foremost is conceptual understanding and problem solving. And the second one is connections, relations. How are these variables connected? And that is the most important one. How is the simple interest is connected with the principle there?
Yeah.
No, you should know the formula there. Okay, making the connections. And the third one, these are all familiar to mathematics teachers. I need not spend much time on that. But let me tell you, right from the conceptual understanding till the data representation. Okay, and all these 5, they are familiar to all the mathematics teachers, and make a note of that. And emphatically, I'm telling you, check on these parameters, whether the child is competent to do mathematics or not. 5, we call them academic standards. The question papers should be written based on academic standards. Okay, this is an important point. But I gave you only 3. Remember that. 2 I did not, because you can get that. A little homework, I tell you that. Okay. A little homework. Let me honestly tell you one thing. Like, at what age should we start teaching mathematics? Generally, like, you have your own perceptions about it, and definitely I tell you what I did. Okay, and it's not any kind of bragging or anything. And I started teaching my son mathematics when he was 11 months old. Okay, and he started talking when he was 8 months old, and my mathematics started at 11th month. Probably you'll wonder, what did you teach? I tell you, the method is important. When you are teaching a kid, appropriate method, if you can take it up, and certainly mathematics can be taught. Okay, so I started teaching properties of quadrilaterals, a square and a rectangle, a parallelogram. Diagonals are perpendicular, diagonals bisect each other. You may wonder, at the age of 14th month, of course, I just made very sure that he knows the properties of, it is not memory. Please understand, memory is the bottommost one in Bloom's taxonomy.
Yeah.
I am not talking about memorizing a few formulae, and this doesn't make any sense. Mathematics is all about, it's an analytical work, not for memory. I don't accept if someone says that, like, they've done mathematics and a lot of importance is given to memory. That's ridiculous and preposterous. Mathematics is all about analysis. Then the question comes, of course, what continued later? Like, I taught Pythagorean theorem when he was 18 months old. But I also tell you one thing, Pythagorean theorem I taught by Henry Perigal's method. Okay, Henry Perigal's method I took, and I just connected the sum of the areas on 2 sides of a right triangle is equal to the area on the hypotenuse, So that was taught at the age of 18 months. When he was probably when he was 4 years old, I taught him Paul Venn diagrams. But remember, I used MS Paint for that. Using MS Paint, I taught him A union B whole complement, A minus B union C, A complement. All these were filling colors using MS Paint. And ultimately, I tell you, I talked about a sinusoid, a sine curve and all that when he was maybe 6 years old. But my point here is, you can teach a child if you have a right method. And that is the crux of the story. And having done that, I also want to tell you that mathematics it's a divine subject. God has enunciated, okay, the poem of nature in the form of mathematics. Such a beautiful subject. I tell you, the compendious knowledge one has got in mathematics, it shall encompass every other subject. It influences every other subject. And that is important actually. And I tell you one thing, if a child gets a right teacher, it is all the time centum. It is 100. 99 is a compromise. 99 is a compromise. It's all the time 100. So when I was a school teacher, we used to gather all the students and give them a platform. We used to say, come on, it's a centum dance. And all the students should get onto the stage, those who have got 100 and 100, and come on, start dancing. It is to celebrate. It is to celebrate. It is 100 and 100. Let me tell you one thing. In all the marks a child can get, 0 to 100, 0, 1, 2, 10, 99, these are all 2-digit numbers and a single-digit number. There is only one 3-digit number. That is 100.
100.
It's so, people are crazy about it because it's a 3-digit number and only 3-digit number. And therefore, everybody used to look at, come on, 100. They used to tell me, sir, can you reduce 1 mark, 2 marks in science and give me 1 mark in mathematics? So that I get 100, because that's a different one, like, unlike any other number what they can probably get. And so that's so important. Children should get addicted to doing mathematics. I'm using the word addiction. And they should not, they should think of the editors, like, which are the other methods. Can I do this in this way, sir? Can I do this in this way, sir? And mathematics is known for brevity. I'm so happy I'm given only 10 minutes. I'm so happy I'm given only 10 minutes. It's a challenge for me.
I
Sir,
know.
come on, sir, you solve this problem. You can take only 2 steps. You can't take a tedious 100-step problem and all that, like it's known for brevity. And if a child can do it in fewer steps, appreciate that. Don't be a mathematics teacher where you count the number of steps. It's ridiculous, in fact. The fewer the steps, the better the student.
Yes.
And therefore, mathematics is all about, if he can give a single line answer, and that's the reason we have mental mathematics. At the end of each of my classes, I just close all the books. I just tell them, come and answer this question. Pose a question and let them answer. And they should give a single line answer. No working out. Let them think. That is abstract thinking. So mathematics at the end of the day culminates into abstract thinking. No paper, no pen. Come on, work it out. And that is the most important one. And I tell you one thing, if they get interest, it is very easy for them. These are all depends on what kind of teacher the child has got. And therefore, mathematics teachers, please work for your professional development. Sometimes I get students, they're in grade 10. Parents come to me and say, sir, my boy is weak in mathematics. And this is a very important question, a pertinent one. I just answer in a very simple way. It's a very simple one. Like, it's all about cumulative defects in learning, cumulative defects in learning. It did not happen in one single step. Maybe 3rd class, he didn't understand something, 6th class something, 8th class something, and that resulted in such a pathetic condition has come to grade 10. Yeah. What do we do then? What do we do then? Give him mental math books right from grade 1. First grade book he can do in 1 hour time. You give him second grade 2 book. He can maybe 1 or 2 days he takes. And then you give him grade 3 book. And I tell you, in 1 month's time, you can bridge the gap. You can bridge the gap, then take him to grade 10. I tell you, he can also get centum. A child who has not passed in mathematics consistently for 2 years can still get 100 in his grade 10. But I tell you, the joy of getting this 100 in mathematics, I tell you, there is a profound happiness and in mastering mathematics, because it's such an easy subject. But also remember, mathematics teachers, particularly these days, you can, online teaching is becoming very, very important, and you can choose your math teachers, though they're at a long distance and all that. And only a small hint I want to tell you, you should have the correct pronunciation of mathematical terms. You say vertices, not vertices. Okay. Say you say plug-in, you may not say substitute there. So this is where you should be a bit careful. Matrix, you say, not matrix. Okay, so if you can practice a bit of internationally accepted terminology, pronunciation of that, I tell you, Indian teachers are respected everywhere. I've seen both at home and abroad. I just tell you, and I just tell you as a testimony, Indian mathematics teachers have got a great respect all over the world. I tell you, for the profundity of the compendious knowledge they have got, the excellent delivery mechanism. And these days, of course, they're using technology, integrating the technology in the classroom. And for all good reasons, of course, with their good communication skills. And we are surpassing all the expectations of the students across the world. But I tell you one thing, when you are teaching mathematics, you are teaching them the values. Don't teach them a problem. I purchase 5 liters of milk and add 5 liters of water. I sell the mixture at this price. Don't teach them that, being dishonest. Okay, adding water and you can still sell it at a profit and all. And don't tell them that if I can cut 5 trees a day, how many trees I can cut in a week of 6 days. Why cutting the trees? Why mathematics teachers should not talk about cutting the trees? So you can't teach them to be dishonest. Okay, you can't teach them. You don't teach them that I borrow some money from the bank and I lend it at a higher rate of interest, and what do I get? Don't teach such problems, because mathematics is such a subject which encompasses the values and attitudes, actually so much related to that. And therefore, my contention today is that have interest. You are not just a teacher of mathematics. You are, complete transformation of the child is in the hands of the math teacher. You are teaching him values, you are teaching him the thinking, you are teaching him logic, you are developing the self-esteem, and everything is in the hands of the teacher. And I tell you, mathematics is such a beautiful subject. And learn your fundamentals very well. Check your fundamentals very well. Okay, you see, when I have to show a circle on the board, my finger should move. That's a circle. I can't put my finger like this. That's the interior part of the circle. And also remember, without teaching an angle, don't teach what an acute angle is. This is where we jump. Without teaching what a closed figure is, you tell that square is closed. Without teaching, the basic things, you should know that an angle is a closed figure. An angle is a closed figure. So such problems should be given to children which provoke the thinking. A thought-provoking question is the most important one in any mathematics class. Let them think, let them answer. And that's you think of the projects. Project-based learning, the whole world is talking about it. Don't teach them area of a rectangle is length times the breadth. Immediately after that, ask the child to, measure the length of the table and the breadth of that and determine the area of that. A window pane or a tabletop or whatever it is. That's a project. So project-based learning is such an important one. That's the application of learning. You think about the higher order thinking skills, application, applying, analyzing, evaluating, and creating. What is creating in mathematics? Doing the problem in a different way. It's not the teacher's method. It is his own method. If you have an open-ended question in all the international schools, we give so much of connotation for open-ended questions. Different students, they get different answer. I just give you a small example before I retire. See, you give a figure to him and ask them, you count the number of loops and the number of points of intersection. That's an Indian textbook. Count the number of loops and count the points of intersection in the figure, geometric figure you are given. That's an Indian book. Whereas, if you take a Porter book or math circles book or Russian circles book, the question is different. Draw a figure which has got 4 loops and 3 points of intersection. Which has got 4 loops and 3 points of intersection. And different children, they answer it differently. And that is an open-ended question. And therefore, my point here is, to sum up, you are the one writing the complete career path of a child. Therefore, your role is so emblematic, you can't afford. And the government has given the academic standards and learning indicators. What a grade 3 child should do, what a grade 2 child should do, everything is given clearly. And before you say that you are a good mathematics teacher, first ascertain the fact whether the children have got the competencies or not. Then you will know for yourself that the children are not competent and you are an average teacher. And I think I can thank you now.
Yes.
Thank you, sir, so much. I think I have taken a lot of time.